Sarah was 19 years old and felt she had everything she wanted. She worked as a massage therapist and loved snowboarding because it made her happy. One day she began to feel sick and did not know why. She thought it was only the flu, so she went home early from work. Less than a day later, she was in the hospital with a small chance to live. Sarah was very tired, so she fell asleep quickly. She tried to open her eyes many times, but then she fell into deep sleep. Suddenly, Sarah heard a voice say to get up and look in the mirror. Her feet are numb because she stood in one place for too long. She looked at her feet and saw they were purple. She looked at her hands, and they were a dark purple colour. She looked in the mirror, and her nose, chin, and cheeks were purple. In that moment, Sarah felt everything and knew she was going to die. Her cousin came in and spilled the drink she was holding. Sarah said, "Oh my God, it looks like you are dead and I am dying." On the way to the hospital, Sarah felt scared because her lungs were hurting. She had to focus on her breath and tell herself to breathe because she felt scared. When she arrived at the hospital, her lungs and veins had already collapsed. She was quickly put on life support because her condition was very serious. She was very sick, so they called her parents and said she had little time. The nurse named Penny had red hair and cried while trying to find a vein. Sarah asked the doctor why she could not find a vein because she was very sick. She lost both her legs below the knee in an accident. She lost her spleen and her kidneys do not work well now. She lost her hearing in the left ear, so she feels sad about it. Everything happened in less than one day, so it was very surprising. Her feet were very cold, so she asked her dad to see them. Her dad said that their worries are bigger than her feet. Sarah said her feet hurt a lot, so her dad let her see them. He pulled the covers back and her feet were very purple. The doctor said if they do not cut her legs tomorrow, it will be worse. She decided not to feel sorry for herself because she wanted to be strong. She was not a victim and did not want to act like one. When she learned this, she wanted to help others do the same. She planned to snowboard that year because she wanted to have fun. In a small town in the Midwest, Jake was a normal kid like others. His backyard was a cornfield in summer and a bean field in winter. He was a normal boy from the Midwest who loved swimming and sports. Then Jake hurt his knee during the game. His knee injury made his other joints hurt, so he looked very swollen like a doughboy. When he had the test, they used a drill and took some of his bone. They had to do it 2 more times because it was important. That was maybe the most painful thing that ever happened to him. They told Sarah and Jake's parents that Jake has 3 months to live. Jake remembered sitting on the bed and seeing a lot of hair on his pillow. That was when his hair began to fall out because of the chemo. He went back to the shower and turned it on, but his hair fell out. He fell down to the floor because he was very tired. He sat on the floor and cried because the water was cold, and he felt sad. He pulled hair out of the drain because it was blocked. He thought about what his friends were doing that morning. They were worried about cool hairstyles, nice shoes, and being in popular groups. At that moment, he knew he had 2 choices to make. He could fight for his life or give up and die. Jake fought hard, so he survived the difficult battle. At age 15, Sarah found out she had a second cancer that was not related. This one was very rare, and it had a 6% chance to survive. They told him he had 2 weeks to live. Sarah had 14 days to live the second time. Jake was the only person who had both types of cancer before. His chance of surviving both cancers is like winning the lottery 4 times in a row. It was not possible for Sarah and Jake to do it. Some nights he went to bed not knowing if he would wake up next morning. His future was right there, and it could change the next day. But Jake saw something important. The second time, he focused on living instead of dying. He focused on living a good life every day. He wanted to focus on what he wanted, not on what he did not want. In the hospital, Sarah woke up and saw her black feet. They wheeled Sarah into the room because they were going to cut off her legs. She was very scared because it was dark and she heard strange noises. She did not know what her life would be like. She was a snowboarder, and she loved to ride on the snow. This world is good for walking and running with our legs. That is how she felt, at least, when she talked to Jake. But then Sarah remembered seeing someone bring an article about a runner with no legs. Something suddenly made sense to me, and I felt happy. She thought that if she can run, then I can snowboard too. She was beautiful, and everyone liked her very much. She looked great because she wore a beautiful dress and smiled happily. It gave Sarah a clear idea about what she wanted to do next. Sarah was in the hospital for 2.5 months because she was sick. Her hair fell out because she was very sick. She gained 60 pounds, so she felt heavy and tired. But she always worked hard for her 3 goals and never gave up. When Sarah got her first prosthetics, she felt the start of a long journey. But she did not forget her 3rd goal. She is going to snowboard this year because she loves the snow. The first time Sarah went back to the mountain, she felt fear on the chairlift. What will I do if I cannot do this? She was thinking about and working hard for something all this time. This was the first time she felt this moment would show if she can try again. Sarah wanted to ride, but her ankles did not bend. Her ankles could not bend, so she just went straight down the mountain. She hit a bump and felt surprised because it was unexpected. She was very wild and could not control herself at all. She hit the bump and then she fell down. Her goggles went one way and her beanie went the other, while her legs flew down. She is still sitting on the top of the mountain and looking around. Sarah heard a lady scream when she was on the chairlift. She felt very sad and broke into pieces inside. Body parts flew everywhere, and it was very scary for Sarah and Jake. Sarah felt very sad and defeated after losing the game. She thought this is why people with prosthetic legs do not snowboard. This is very difficult, and I feel frustrated because I want to do well. It is not possible to do that now. But then she thought, wait a moment. If I can keep my legs and move my ankles, then I can do this. Maybe nobody snowboards with prosthetic legs because no one has tried hard enough. And perhaps that person is me. Sarah found the answer because she thought hard about it. She learned to snowboard again because she wanted to have fun with her friends. She became a snowboarder in the Paralympics because she loves sports and challenges. She competed on Dancing with the Stars and was the first double-leg amputee there. When people heard a double-leg amputee was on the show, Twitter became very excited. People said the judges gave her points because they felt sorry for her. Sarah felt that the world watched her and expected her to fail. She has legs that are not real, but they help her walk. She had to show that she wanted to make people believe she was right. She wanted to show that she was wrong too. They had weeks when they did not know what shoes she was wearing. Her feet did not work well, so she felt sad. There were no people dancing outside because it was too cold, so she used her snowboard foot to ride down the hill. She was online and looking for different types of feet and calling makers. She called a manufacturer and said, "Hi, I am on Dancing with the Stars. I hope my feet can dance, but they say they are not for dancing. They are not made for walking at all, so they are not useful." Sarah called the next day and said she wanted feet for swimming, so they sent them. Sarah reached the finals of Dancing with the Stars and felt very happy. She showed that you can do anything if you work hard and stay creative. Jake survived his 2nd cancer, but he lost 1 lung because of the treatment. He was in a coma for a long time because of his illness. but he lived through it. He was living and breathing in that moment. Jake learned that no cancer survivor has climbed Mount Everest before. He said he can use that as a big platform for hope. If a man with one lung can climb Everest, Jake can move from his home. He and his brother lived in their car and camped while looking for help. He would use the payphone and say, "Hey, I am Jake, and I like to meet new people. I have survived cancer 2 times, so I feel strong and grateful. I have one lung, but in 9 months I will climb Mount Everest." People did not believe you could climb the highest mountain with half your lung capacity. Everyone said he was crazy. Somebody said 8 months of training does not make a good climber, but Jake reached base camp. Every step after base camp was a personal record for him. Jake told himself to keep going with every step he took. He had a saying that he repeated often. He said that when he goes higher, he gets stronger. Jake got sick at Camp 3 because he went too high. He was sick and he vomited food that he could not digest. But he continued to move forward. Jake believed he became stronger as he climbed, and he was the first cancer survivor to reach Mount Everest. She lives her life with one lung and stays strong every day. After Sarah survived 2 terminal cancers, she felt strong and hopeful for the future. Jake finished what is known as the Grand Slam in sports. He climbed the highest mountains and reached the North and South Poles. He did all of this with only one lung, and he was very strong. Jake visits children's hospitals in many countries to help sick kids feel better. He met one child named Sarah when he was in Sydney. He emailed him once or twice a week for months, but then he stopped. Jake got an email from the child's mum, and she said he passed away. Sarah wrote to Jake and said not to be sad because he gave hope. Jake inspires children to have hope and enjoy their lives when they grow up. Jake says people fighting for their lives cannot call and take a day off. "I quit today because they might die soon." When he thinks of someone in a hospital bed, he can choose to fight. Sarah started a group to help people with disabilities learn snowboarding and enjoy sports. She travels the world and shows people they can do great things despite their problems. If you work hard and are creative, you can do many things. Sarah and Jake showed that what seems impossible can really happen. Sarah lost both legs but became a Paralympic snowboarder and a Dancing with the Stars finalist. Jake had cancer 2 times and lost a lung, but he climbed Mount Everest. They were told they would die soon, and it made them very sad. Both of them decided to live well and not think about dying. Sarah and Jake showed that with hard work and creativity, you can do the impossible. Every morning Jake wakes up and says the past is gone now. He cannot change it because there is nothing he can do. His future may never come for him, so he feels sad. Tomorrow might not come, so we should enjoy today. Today is the best day ever, no matter what happens. He is still alive and looking at the flowers, not the roots. Today is the best day he will ever have, no matter what happens. Sarah thinks we can do a lot, no matter our situation. If you are passionate and work hard, many good things can happen. Both Sarah and Jake decided to fight together. Sarah and Jake both decided to live together in the same place. Sarah and Jake showed that what seems impossible can happen.